Discussion forums are the workhorse of the online environment. Discussion forums are a space where students get to know one another and share their work, groups discuss and collaborate, and instructors share information and answer questions. Here, we're focused on discussion forums as a space where students can collaboratively explore ideas and give and get feedback from peers. In this module, we will review planning and facilitating online discussions. The difference between casual discussion and discussion that results in deep learning is planning. Online discussions require more preparation and planning than face-to-face discussions, in part because online discussions might be assessed. When planning for an online discussion, consider discussion prompts, expectations, and assessment. A good discussion starts with a good discussion prompt. First and foremost, your prompt must support your course learning outcomes. It must also encourage a range of responses, or there won't be anything left to say after one student responds. Avoid prompts that ask for factual answers or ones that students can answer by summarizing material from a textbook. This will result in students parroting the same material to one another. That's not what a discussion looks like. Be sure your prompt emphasizes those higher order skills that we associate with deep learning. Let's rewrite this question to invite multiple perspectives and have students synthesize and apply what they've learned. When planning discussion assignments, be sure to establish expectations for participation. Students need to know the value of the discussion, both the grade value and the relevance of the discussion topic. They need to know the amount of effort they should invest. This might be time spent, the length of the post, or the word count that you want. Students need to know if you expect formal or informal language, and they need a timeline for initial posts as well as responses. Students need to know how they are expected to engage their peers. For instance, how many peers should they respond to? How often should they respond? And what constitutes a good response or good feedback? They also need to know how they will be evaluated for participation in this activity. Assessment provides a strong motivation for student participation. How will you assess students' contributions to a discussion? Criteria might include the number of posts they make. Perhaps you will assess students on the quality of their questions and feedback to peers. How you construct your assessment criteria depends on your learning goals and the behaviors you wish to reinforce. You can give students more rigorous feedback with rubrics. Here is an example of an assessment strategy that utilizes the discussion forums rating system. Each post is rated on a scale of 4, strongest, to 0, no points awarded. What are strategies for facilitating an online discussion? And how do you help your students take responsibility for sustaining the discussion? As the instructor, you want to make your presence felt. Be active in online discussions. Especially in larger online classes, you want to make your voice heard by many students without responding to every post. For instance, you can spot read student posts, then post a general response to the class or to each group. Or you might have small groups report out to the class in a forum designated for a whole class discussion. In your role as facilitator, be sure to recognize useful contributions. Resist providing answers yourself and encourage students to respond to one another's questions. Help your students take responsibility for sustaining discussion by giving them specific strategies for engagement. For instance, prompt them to pinpoint areas of agreement as well as disagreement. You might even give your students examples of comments and questions they can use.
Ask a question or make a comment that encourages another person to elaborate on something they wrote.
Make a comment that underscores the link between two people's contributions.
Make a comment indicating that you found another person's ideas useful. Be specific as to why this is the case.
When planning discussion forums, remember, write discussion prompts that are relevant, inclusive, and promote deep learning. Create clear expectations and indicate to students how they will be assessed. As a facilitator, be an active presence, but be strategic. Participating in discussions is time-consuming. Finally, help your students to take responsibility for sustaining the conversation. Learning how to really engage in the back and forth of discussion in an academic environment is a valuable skill that your students can practice and develop with your guidance.